was an OG. Like Charlie's been around the block. He's, his brother is Eddie Murphy. He's seen the epicenter of like the fame that we all wanted to acquire.
We gonna hang out with Rick James tonight, you know what I'm saying? And here he comes out the room, and I look at him, and I'm not bullshit, man. I seen like an orange, his aura or whatever. I seen it. He was orange.
There's nobody like Charlie. Nobody was funnier than that. And some of my biggest laughs in my life are Charlie. Yeah. I miss my brother.
There was one comedian that even Dave Chappelle didn't mess with, and that was Charlie Murphy. When he walked into a room that he wasn't the kind of guy you could play games with, he told it like it was, didn't care about playing industry games, and he wasn't afraid of anyone. Charlie could expose someone and have you laughing while completely owning the room, and that's why, even though Chappelle was the king of comedy in his world, there was one man he never crossed. So let's break down how Charlie Murphy earned the title of one of the most feared comedians, and why Dave Chappelle was scared of him.
All right, Charlie was definitely funny because every time we do Buck Nasty, right? Like he'll be sitting in the back of the time machine, and as soon as they say, "Okay, roll sound," Charlie get to shaking like this. It's not. All right, just show him, like, just give him an example of what it's like to shoot this. From Doctors. Yeah. All right, ready? Roll sound. Ready?
Most people know Charlie as Eddie Murphy's older brother, but he wasn't just Eddie's brother. He carved out his own lane in comedy, acting, and storytelling. He had a unique way of taking real-life experiences and turning them into wild, unforgettable stories that had people laughing and shaking their heads at the same time.
Paula Deen has been forgiven. I know you've seen it on the news. They forgave her, you know? And I remember the very first day when I heard that scandal break out, I was watching TV and the news came on and they said, "Today, Paula Deen's entire Food Network empire, valued at $17 million a year, has come under jeopardy due to the fact that Paula's been caught using the N-word, otherwise known as." I was in my living room, I was like, wow, $17 million a year for saying the word. That's messed up, man. I say the word about 200 times a day myself. So when they forgave her, you know, I kind of went along with it, because I'm going to be honest with you. As a black man, I didn't get mad when Paula Deen said the word. I got mad about all the recipes she stole from.
But Charlie really broke into the spotlight with Chappelle Show, where he became a legend for his true Hollywood stories. If you haven't seen them, these are the sketches where Charlie would tell outrageous stories about his encounters with big-name celebrities, and they were all somehow hilarious, chaotic, and absolutely believable. Remember the Rick James story, or the Prince one? That was some legendary comedy right there. But what made Charlie different wasn't just that he had funny stories, it was how he told them. He wasn't sugarcoating anything to make people feel comfortable. He spoke his truth, laid it all out, and didn't care about playing by the industry rules.
So watching Eddie's success had to be bittersweet for a guy like you, because
it was not bittersweet. It was, I can't tell you
bitter.
how proud I am about my brother. There's nothing bitter about it.
Be honest for a minute.
I'm being totally honest.
There must have been time.
To see someone rise above that, okay?
Right.
Because before my generation or whatever, I can't look back and go, oh, yeah, you know, my uncle went to Harvard and then he was this.
Right.
No, we was, you know, regular American black people, you know, struggling.
Your brother is probably the greatest stand-up I've ever seen. Now,
well, I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
And I've told Eddie that. But Eddie made you his bodyguard. In a way,
well, you know, when I came out the Navy, that's all I was actually qualified to do. You know, I was when I was in the Navy, I worked in the boiler room.
Right. So you got out, and Eddie
didn't have
job.
a boiler room where he needed
now look,
employees. So
you get out of the Navy. Yeah. Your brother's a superstar.
Superstar.
You're the bodyguard brother, and everyone looks at you like, oh man, he's just there because Eddie's giving him a job. I mean,
I never went to my brother and asked him for anything.
Nothing.
Nothing.
He put you on salary.
My brother put me on salary. He gave me a job. I didn't ask him to give me a job.
Right.
He asked me, do I want to work for him?
Right. And all you got to do is hang out and protect Eddie.
See, Charlie wasn't just funny. He was someone you knew not to mess with. And he wasn't scary in a weird, threatening way, but he had this aura of confidence, honesty, and straight-up fearlessness that made people respect him instantly. In interviews and behind the scenes, Charlie wasn't into playing Hollywood politics or doing favors for the higher-ups. He called things as he saw them. If something was sketchy or ignorant, Charlie would call it out, and he said it in a way that made people listen. One thing that really set Charlie apart, and this is where you see the real connection between him and Chappelle, is that he was always a bit suspicious of Hollywood, industry politics, and all the BS that comes with it. Charlie wasn't starstruck by the system. In fact, he questioned it and warned younger comedians not to accept just anything for a check.
That was fuel. I use it as fuel. I continued honing my craft, make myself better, because I always had it in me that it ain't about money. I make a lot of money doing this, yes, but that's not why I'm doing it. If I was doing it for money, I wouldn't develop, okay? Money is not going to inspire you to develop. You have to really love what you're doing to develop. You know, it's in you.
And even though Chappelle Show made him a household name, Charlie didn't just waltz into that world with open arms, and there is a reason why he never became as famous as his own brother. In early interviews, Charlie talked about how some of the higher-ups on Chappelle Show actually wanted less Charlie in the lineup because producers didn't know how to handle his style and personality. But Chappelle fought to keep more of Charlie on the show because he saw something real in him, something that wasn't polished by Hollywood but earned on the streets. Charlie also wasn't someone who adjusted his voice to please executives or PR people. In his stand-up special, I Will Not Apologize, he even made a point of saying, literally in the title, that he wasn't going to apologize for what he said, even if others in the industry thought it was too raw. According to Charlie's own stories, Eddie once told him that once you talk about your life, people will feel like they have permission to comment on it. That's a classic industry trap where telling your truth somehow invites criticism from everyone, even outsiders. And Charlie never let anyone use him for ratings. He was always 2 steps ahead, and he refused to play the industry games.
Brennan tells this story, the co-creator of the Chappelle Show. He tells this story about you, that there was an actual situation where you grabbed a Tech 9 off a dresser and you were going to deal with a situation of some sort, and your brother Eddie says, hey Charlie, you know this isn't a movie, right? You know that this is real what you're doing right now. Look at that look on his face. You remember the details of that story?
Yeah,
what
I remember the
happened
details of that story, man. I don't really want to go into the details of that story because the person who was involved in the story with me and that person have resolved our issues. And for me to come on television and bring it back up and make a joke about it, because it wasn't a joke when it happened. It was a very serious situation, and it got resolved with nobody getting hurt. And to bring it back up, you know, it would be like picking a scab off a wound. Because other people was involved in that story besides me.
Can you speak without
I just put it this way. I wasn't the one that was scared of the story.
Charlie was a guy who didn't buy into Hollywood fakeness. He saw through the politics, the biases, and the idea that you had to play the game to get respect. And because of that, just like Dave Chappelle, he earned respect not because he followed the rules, but because he refused to let the rules define him.
The thing that helped me was that, you know, from the Chappelle Show, I had plenty of love from people that was giving it up from being fans of the show. And that was fuel. I use it as fuel. I continued honing my craft, myself better, because I always had it in me.
And this is why people feared him, because he might just expose your dirty laundry, the things other comedians did to stay relevant, if you know what I mean. Charlie set his own rules, and anyone in his orbit, including Dave Chappelle, respected him for it.
Oxford standing up.
Tell us the story with Charlie Murphy.
Tell a story about Charlie Murphy?
Or your favorite.
Boy, there's so many good Charlie Murphys. You know, the thing with Charlie Murphy is he used to just make us laugh all the time. And I used to ask him about all the old Hollywood shit I was curious about. Like when they used to accuse Michael Jackson, I remember asking once, I go, Charlie, do you think Michael Jackson actually did those things? And he said, let me ask you a question, Dave. He said, say it is illegal to f women. How long are you staying out of jail? So God bless Charlie Murphy, wherever you are. Charlie, I love you.
You see, Dave knew about it, and he maintained his respect and distance from Charlie. And the thing is, Dave never tried to overshadow him. He let Charlie tell it, let the story breathe, and reacted perfectly to the chaos.
In fact, their partnership worked because they complemented each other. Charlie brought the wild stories that made people sit up and take notice. Meanwhile, Dave brought the platform, the timing, and the comedic genius to turn those stories into legendary sketches. Together, they were unstoppable. And honestly, you could see why anyone who knew Charlie Murphy up close knew better than to mess with him. And behind the scenes, comedians would talk about how Charlie didn't play games. He called out shady behavior, didn't kiss anyone's behind to get ahead in Hollywood, and stayed true to his own rules.
6.5 billion people! And hidden within the ranks of that 6.5 billion, believe it or not, is a secret society. One that spans the globe, comprised of all races and nationalities. And this group of people's sole purpose in life, their sole mission in life is to aggravate the fuck out of everybody else on the planet. Yes, they've touched the lives of everybody in this room tonight on many occasions. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's signs of their existence all around you.
Charlie truly changed the game in comedy. He showed that you could be funny, fearless, and real all at the same time.
I mean, have you ever heard of the Pope retiring before? That f***ing up, man. Think about it. The last Pope didn't retire until he was dead for about 4 years. Don't front. You remember they was bringing that out like Weekend at Bernie's and shit.
Even after Charlie passed in 2017, Dave Chappelle made it clear how much he valued him. During a tribute, Chappelle said Charlie was a good friend, and he added that everybody in comedy was heartbroken over his passing.
It's a very large part of the reason that I got to be successful. Like, literally, he changed my life just by saying, I fought Rick James many times. We were like, what? He
Rick James.
Fought Rick James.
Oh, I thought you said
Jesus Christ, Charlemagne, Jesus.
Whoa. That was.
Whoa. But no, he said he fought Rick James many times. He tell us his story at lunch, and it literally, from then on, it just changed our lives.
So that's why Charlie Murphy wasn't just Eddie Murphy's brother, or even just a sketch legend. He was fearless, honest, and impossible to underestimate. Dave Chappelle knew it, the comedy world knew it, and his legacy still commands respect. But let who today in comedy has that same no-nonsense, tell-it-like-it-is energy? Could anyone ever match Charlie's mix of fearlessness and authenticity? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's talk about the comedians who command respect just by being real. But it makes you wonder, did Charlie have even more potential than we saw? Why didn't he reach the same level of fame as Eddie? Could it have something to do with him refusing to play industry games? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and let's celebrate Charlie's legacy the way he deserves.